the consent.
Gotcha.
We will now convene the May 31st Mayor and Alderman Workshop. We are down to number 21. Motion to approve
17.
Well, y'all, I'm trying to rush it.
That's one way to do it.
Y'all told me to rush it. I'm sorry, number 17, Resolution 2012-06, a resolution adopting policies and procedures for the administration of federally tax-exempt debit obligations.
This resolution is closely related to the previous item. Our bond counsel advised us to approve this. Basically, it just talks about how we're going to administer these debt obligations that we have, the tax exempt ones. She said by passing this, it will help us with the IRS, and when it goes through them, if we did not have this in place, red flags would go up and we may get audited. She said by having this policy in place, it should help us with that. But it's just basically about how we, use the proceeds and just the administration of the debt.
Okay. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions? All right. Excuse me. Number 18, Resolution 2012-07, a resolution to appropriate funds to the nonprofit organizations for the fiscal year 2012-2013. All right, if you'll notice on your screen, first up is the Rutherford County Rabies Control. At this time, I'm opening this up for discussion. We've had several discussions. I think Bruce and maybe you, Tom, have had discussions with our legal counsel regarding this matter. And at this time, Bruce, you, Tom, want to tell what your findings were.
Basically, Rutherford County PAWS is a county agency. Our taxes pay for part of it. I know they kind of came together as a private and a government agency at one point in time, but my understanding is they are, with funding, with this donation or without it, they are required to service our area. Is that correct? Am I right in what I got from Evan?
That's my understanding. That's correct.
Okay. And of course, last month you heard me speak on that. I did not believe that PAWS was going to give us the level of service that our residents have asked for, that we'd like to see. Quite frankly, whether we give them 27 that they're asking or 10,000, I don't think the standard is going to go up at all. We also talked about maybe down the road looking for something private, or if nothing else, we could have a private agency come in, and then when they get the dogs or whatever, they could house them, board them at the PAWS building in Murfreesboro. Maybe there would be a fee at that point. I don't know. My comments right now, as far as PAWS goes, is we had 2 or 3 major problems this last month.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, PAWS did not find it top of the priority list when you had you had some fox running through the neighborhood, when you had pit bulls that attacked another animal's dog, a habitual owner that had been out there several times. My thing is, at this point in time, we've asked twice. I'm going to ask, I'll just say it here, I'll ask on Tuesday night that we drop funding altogether, especially if they're obligated anyway. If our tax dollars are going there, certainly not trying to be a thorn in anyone's side, but maybe that 10,000 can go better towards a private agency or something here where we can get a little better. It's obviously going to cost more than that, but my point is, give $10,000 to an agency that basically has their own standards, and it isn't what we've asked for, and what he promised us on 2 different occasions. So.
And we all sat in here last year when he promised, to step up, and I think he was new, and we gave him more, and we got less.
Yeah, and I think what we would like to do is maybe use this kind of as a negotiation tool to try and talk to the county about the possibility of the city either setting up an in-house program to collect the animals that we need to collect and take them down to Murfreesboro, or we would contract with a private company to do the same thing. If we use this funding maybe as a way to say, we will pay you such and such dollars to take our animals and take care of them until the owners are contacted, the holding part of the program. Maybe that'll be a way that we can improve our services ourselves as far as the collection and picking up of strays or whatnot, but still have the county, assist us in maintaining those animals once we take them down there. So we've got several things we've got to look at over the next few months, to try to figure out what the best way would be.
Okay.
The same, talking to private companies, they have the same problem that we have here. We don't have any place to bring the dogs to. They don't mind any other type of animal. Dogs are their main one, probably just because of the sheer number of them. And he brought up some other, this private company also brought up some other reasons. Number one, dogs have to be euthanized, so there's some litigations involved with that. So right now, these private companies are pretty much would love to be on board, but they don't have a place to board these dogs, and the dogs are the biggest concern. So I guess that's what we need to find between now and whenever. But again, as far as donating money to PAWS, my feelings are we're throwing that money away. They're might not correct that they have to come out if dispatch calls. They have to come out if there's some sort of animal control, pit bull, something like you've had 4 or 5 of them this month. So,
and we've had trouble with them not coming.
Exactly.
It wasn't an emergency,
Exactly.
and in our situation, multiple times it was an emergency where someone was attacked. We had a child about a month ago, again, that was attacked and was cut very seriously. We had an adult female in the last few weeks, same way. And if they come, it takes forever for them to get here. And all that's doing is tying our people up, trying to run around the neighborhood to make sure that animal doesn't attack somebody else. And then if it starts, then we're going to have to euthanize it. And that's very dangerous out in the community with an animal when they could come and take care of it initially. And I think you're right on. I'm a taxpayer too in this city, and I pay county taxes, and my county taxes are going to pay for PAWS. So why are we being charged double what county residents are being charged? And I believe they're probably getting better service.
I believe so too.
I agree. Any further discussion? I think we're pretty much on the same page where Paul is concerned. All right. Next, if you'll also notice that box 100 is highlighted at this time. They've undergone new management and are working on the books, and we do not have the paperwork done. So until we get that paperwork done, they cannot be part of all this.
And what we can always do is once they do have their paperwork in order, we can have another resolution come through the council for approval, and we've done that in the past for other agencies as well. So, I'll go ahead and take them off of the resolution for Tuesday night, and then as soon as we get their paperwork in order, we'll bring it back before council at that time.
And like I said, I do know it's been turned over. We have the new chief here. It's been turned over to CPAs and attorneys to be resolved. Okay. Do y'all have any questions? Any more? I think that's it. Everything else is everything that y'all saw prior. Okay, making sure I've not skipped anything. All right, I think I'm safe now to go on to 21.
21.
See, you're trying to mess me up now. Motion to approve a proposal from Emergency Communications Network, Inc. for the Code Red notification system using GSA pricing.
Mayor, this is the 3-year agreement for Code Red. We had previously done a temporary 3 or 4 month contract. We had several legal changes that were made to that document, and This is the revised version that they sent back today. I have forwarded that on to Evan to double check and make sure that it is the same changes that were made to the previous agreement.
Okay.
So hopefully he'll review that between now and Tuesday night. And as far as I know, this is what we've asked for. So
Okay,
should be good to go.
And I know Alderman Broker and several of us were out Kroger signing people up. They were very excited about this, and it works. I mean, it works. The last episode that we have, now what's strange, we also need to say this while we're on this, it's very centralized. It's on the locations, because a lot of people, we didn't hear it. As Ricky explained, it did. The people that were in that immediate area got notified immediately. So, and then I got one, what was it, last week. So people get signed up. If you come up here, we'll help you. Go online on the www.lavernetn.gov. I think it takes about 30 seconds. If you don't have a computer, come up here. Some of us will help you. So, but I think it's a really good program.
Dispatch also.
Dispatch? Go ahead.
Records and dispatch. I sent an email out again this afternoon about Code Red to all the PD folks, reminding them that we're going to assist people when records is open. If they're not open, if they come there when records is not there, then dispatchers, patrol officers are going to be expected to have forms available and be able to explain the program to people. It works. Ricky and I talked about it. I did not get anything the other night when it hit and tore up a pretty good chunk of Lake Forest, but I wasn't in the polygon.
I asked the same question.
I didn't have a drop of rain at my house. We had pretty good winds, but we were not in the polygon, and Ricky can address the other things better than I can on some of the other issues, but it works.
I will speak on it just a little bit so that people understand. The old methods that you get through your weather alert radios and things that you have at home, which everybody should still have.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't have one in your home, you should buy one, especially when we're at Kroger's having those drives going. The old system of notification used to be by county to county. So if a storm was coming in Eagleville, we would get an alert here in Laverne as well because it was based off of Rutherford County, off of county lines. Now they're using a polygon system, and that polygon system is much more condensed to the path of the storm or the areas that may be subjected to the storm. So Code Red operates off of the National Weather Service's warnings. If you have the boxes in your house like I do, my box went off and immediately my phone was ringing with the Code Red. But I live in the direct path of where that alert was at the other afternoon in Lake Forest. So don't think that just because the other day you'd signed up for Code Red and you didn't get this alert from Code Red, it just meant that you were not in the polygon for that particular storm. I went back and researched the polygon for that storm a little bit, and it was Sand Hill Road towards Wilson County. So anybody back towards Murfreesboro Road, I-24, Woodland Hills around the Chief, anybody in those areas would not have gotten the Code Red alert because they were not in that polygon. So don't think that your system didn't work. It did. It worked as it should have. It was a little bit of delay with the National Weather Service on that storm as well, just because it was really quick developing and really quick moving. When we got the warnings that it actually moved through the area through my house before the actual alerts had went off, but the system does work. So I urge everybody to sign up. If you see me out in the park, if you see me out anywhere around town, I keep a computer with me, I keep my PDA with me. I'd be more than happy to stop and sign you up wherever we're at. So, and as Chief said, dispatch, police department, the officers, we're going to have these things. In fact, I'll make sure that the fire guys in the trucks have these flyers where you can sign up. But it's really simple, 30 seconds to a minute. You can whip right through it, and if you need the assistance, anybody in City Hall or any city employee should be able to help you with getting ready to go. Yes, sir. You can just click the Code Red link on the site, and it carries you directly to it. It carries you to the actual sign-up page. You don't have to go through anything else. It carries you right straight to the page.
And this is a 3-year deal?
Yes, sir. The new one. We were on the short-term agreement, And it'll end the last day of June, and then at that point, this will pick directly back up, and it'll carry it through a 3-year period.
And what was the cost of it?
Bruce, have you got that, the 3-year cost?
Wasn't it like 22 a year?
It was in the,
42.
I'm not sure the exact number. I don't want to give you a wrong number there. I don't know if he sent you the actual pricing page back or not today on this one.
It's about $21,000 per year, I think.
Right.
That's
I
right.
think it's right in that range.
Because I said
was thinking-
22.
Yes, sir.
But
They
we can
give
do
us
so
the
many
total
more.
amount, they didn't break it down by
We can do so
Yeah.
many more things with it as well. We can go in, if we've got a hazardous materials situation, say in a residential area, we can go in and mark off whatever the radius is that we need to try to clear. Those people that are there, we can send messages out to those people too.
Any type of emergency, our dispatch center also has a means of, off of the weather side of this, a means of contacting one citizen through this service or citywide notification. As Chief said, we can draw circular areas of the city, which I've actually been sitting over here tonight playing a little bit with the actual software itself. You can, there's so many different kinds of notification, Amber Alerts, anything like that. Missing children just in our own subdivisions, we can put those things out.
An
So-
attempt to pick a child up in a neighborhood and put the description of the vehicle out.
The money appropriated to do it? or
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, there's one other thing. My sweet darling wife is watching live and has been wearing me out with text messages because she can't talk. But one of the things she said was, we're in a watch and we haven't gotten anything. It's not going to do anything on a watch.
No,
It's got to be a warning,
warning.
That's correct.
where there is imminent potential for, so it's got to be closer. But that's the good part of it. It lets you know up front wherever you are. If you've got your home address there or your work address like 5093 Murfreesboro Road, it's going to let you know when something's going on.
See, the key with the whole thing is you don't want residents' phones ringing off the hook every time there's something going on.
That's correct.
And if you have, like you said, the hazmat over in the Woodland Hills subdivision, there's no need to let
notify
Ricky
people
know
in Lake
at
Forest of that.
Forest Ridge. So again, if that does go off, you are in a direct path in your area of either weather or some other sort of emergency. So again, that's what kind of made it special, not just.
Exactly. Or if we've got a situation where we've got a hostage situation going and a negotiation going on, we can go maybe a 2-block area, wherever it is, then not just Lake Forest, it might be Woodland Hills, Dove Creek, it might be over off ONH or Cheney. There are a lot of areas where you can go in and maybe do a 2-block area and notify those people there, please stay in your homes, we've got this going on at this address. And you don't have to tell them everything, but tell them stay home, get the kids in, so on and so forth.
Loosely related to, while he's at the podium, the lightning detectors that we got, the stopgap, if you will, the quick fix for while we're waiting.
Right, we did
came in
get,
today.
I'd gotten with Jeff from Parks and Rec, and you know, the lightning detection is where all of our weather warning stuff initially started about 3 years ago in the
Yes.
city. And we're about to put out our RFPs for our lightning detection equipment, automated equipment for our park and the kids. But in meantime, we've found a little method of being able to track lightning a little bit better. So those devices come into us today. So we're going to be utilizing those and putting some protocol into the park just to keep the public safer when they are out and in the park. There'll be some notifications. Of course, it'll be word of mouth at the park at this point. The LBSA people, the Parks and Rec people, and our PBA, the umpires and things like that. And I just ask that everybody that visits our parks, when you have these official people, whether it be the umpires or the Laverne Baseball Softball Association members or the city workers, anybody that approaches you and asks you to return to your cars, we're going to get people back to the park and get them to playing and doing what they need to do as soon as it's safe for them to do that. But we would ask for everybody that visits the park to please abide by what they're being asked to do, because it's for their own safety. So
Absolutely.
those items are in place. They did come in today. In fact, I've got one over here tonight. I'm not wishing for lightning, but we're trying to test them out a little bit and see what kind of the ranges and things like that we have. So just one more thing that we're trying to do to help keep the public safe when they're out and about. So.
And once that other system does come in, the one that he purchased is battery operated and has a clip, so if you're not in Bedford Memorial Park where the actual detection system is, you know, my guys can, his guys can, whoever's deemed, you know, the person on call that day with a, you know, LBSA board member, or a football board member, or hockey, whoever, can have that right there on their belt, or where their vehicle, or golf cart, or whatever it is they're on. So it'll be a redundant system, but again, safety's, you know, paramount.
Right.
Any other questions?
Sounds great. Any questions?
Both of your radios went off.
Thank you. All right, number 22, motion to appoint the building official. And for those of you that have not met, we have our new codes director, Mr. Randolph Sawyers, here with us tonight. And welcome. I know you've got a lot of work ahead of you, and this board is very supportive of you and the work that you do. At this time, I did talk to Mr. Sawyers, and if you've had any complaints to the codes department in the last few weeks, no one has returned your phone call, if you will, please resubmit those complaints to the codes department, whether it be coming in, file a complaint, or do you email or whatever. If you'll get those back, please redo those to Mr. Salyers, and he and his team will get out there and get those checked. And we just want to say welcome to the team, and got a lot of hard work ahead of you. All right. Do I have any questions? Anybody have any questions y'all like to ask of me? All right, number 23, motion to withdraw from phase 1 of the hazard mitigation program to purchase property located at 172 Parish. If y'all will remember, back in the flood, Katie is with us tonight, we had several phases that we had to go through. First phase, we had to figure out what was the property that was had the most destruction. There was a point system, et cetera, et cetera. We did vote to take 172 Parish Street. They declined to sell their property. They backed out. So we still had to move on in to phase 2. At that time, we had to take the next piece of property that had the most amount of damage. And from that point, I'll let you carry.
Basically, we're still moving forward to purchase 173 Taylor, and I apologize for these house numbers being so close. They confuse me every day. 172 and 173, we should never have done that. But the Jones is backed out. What we originally hoped to do was change the scope of work for phase 1 to buy 173 Taylor. TEMA preferred for us to continue with the phase 2 application, and so that they would have less paperwork, I believe. So they want us to withdraw from phase 1 since we have been approved for phase 2, and we do have a signed contract which I received yesterday afternoon. So we are under contract with phase 2, so I do think it's okay to withdraw from phase 1 since there is only one property that we are able to buy at this time.
So we will be, if it is accepted, 173 Taylor. I think we all know that's one right there on the creek. And so, and that goes to, if they get the appraisal and they accept the purchase, I mean, we're still ways from it, but we're one step closer, if that makes sense.
Now that I have the signed contract, I can proceed with that one to go into the appraisal process and continue with that, with the home at 173 Taylor. But this isn't affecting that purchase. This is where the previous homeowner had backed out of the program, and FEMA wanted us to continue with phase 2 instead of changing the scope of work for phase 1.
Any questions? Any questions? All right, number 24. Approve a commercial card agreement with SunTrust Bank for the credit card purchasing system.
Mayor, last month at the workshop, we came and talked to you about a new purchasing system using purchasing cards through SunTrust Bank. At that point, we did not know if there was an agreement that would have to be approved, so we did not have it on that council meeting last month. We met with them, and they have presented us with the agreements that we need to have approval for. They were sent to Evan. Evan has, as you can see in front of you, that recommended some changes to the agreement. That is still going back and forth. They sent some proposed changes back today. I forwarded them on to Evan, so hopefully here again by Tuesday night we'll have a final draft of this agreement. And this will allow us to use basically a Visa card for all of our purchasing instead of using all of our different store accounts and trying to keep track of all of those. Various people will have the purchasing cards. I know Smyrna has a system like this. They use it. It works very well for them. And you know, one of the issues, of course, that we'll have to deal with is the education of our employees on how to use the system, and it's going to be very strictly monitored. You know.
And this, I mean, we've all discussed this, and it's just, basically, it's just another cleanup measure that we're trying to do and keep up with everything, and we want it to know, we want to know where every dime's going and make sure that that's right there. Oh. Okay. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Okay. All right. Have I skipped any? Okay. Ricky just had to leave.
I can talk about
Can
this.
you do this? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Discussion, grant equipment received from the Rutherford County Emergency Management Agency.
From time to time, the Rutherford County EMA receives funds from the feds to purchase various equipment, and they usually will go and ask the individual cities if there's any equipment that is needed. At the time they asked us, we needed some masks for our SCBA system, and so we said yes, we could use this. So they did purchase this on our behalf. However, the equipment still belongs to Rutherford County. So basically all we're doing is letting you know that we have this equipment from Rutherford County. They still own it, but we're just kind of just letting you know that we have received this equipment, and you know, this is just an FYI type thing. And there are times when they do give us a call and say, hey, we have some leftover money. Is there anything you need? So it does happen from time to time.
Okay.
So.
Any questions? Any questions? All right. I believe, Bruce, you get the next one, number 27, discussion, personnel rules and regulations.
Been working with Kara Shea, who we contracted with a couple of years ago now, to write up a new personnel rules and regulations manual. We've kind of gone back and forth a couple of times. I do have a draft version here that I received this afternoon.
Wonderful.
We still have a lot of work to go back and forth, but I will be forwarding each of you a copy sometime this month, hopefully after we get it narrowed down a little bit more, and then hopefully we'll have it ready for approval at the next council meeting in July. So just want to let you know we are making progress and starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so hopefully we can finish this up soon.
Don't let Bruce fool you. I walked in today in his hair. Good job. Thank you. And I will have to say, I know we're ready. We got one more, but you've really stepped up and have been doing a very good job, Bruce. And he has. He's been working diligently on a lot of these contracts and really working with, I think, all the department heads. And you know, there's several times when, I mean, you've had my back and this whole board's back. And I just want to say that publicly, that we really do appreciate you. And we've had to make some hard decisions and have done a very good job in doing so.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Last but not least, discussion, gasoline tank at Parks and Recreation Building.
We need to shift that to the right just a little bit to show the property. AC started talking back in January about a concern that we had, the amount of gasoline. This is not gasoline tank for vehicles. This is gasoline for lawnmowers and small pieces of equipment that we maintain at the Parks and Rec building. Currently, our practice is we throw the empty containers in the back of a truck or put it on a trailer and run down to the corner and fill the tanks and then the gas cans and bring them back to the property. I have a safety concern with that about transporting fuel in that manner. You know, cans can fall off of trailers, they can spill and whatnot. So safety is primary. Security, the area there in red is the fence that's in the back. The red square in the southeast corner of the property is where I proposed the tank would go. And that area is surveilled by closed circuit TV, so that ingress and egress on the property would be monitored, and the tank would also be locked. Again, we've got some issues, some logistical issues to work out with finance, with Quick Fuel is the company. They've offered to donate the tank because of their proximity to us. They're right there on Ritter Drive. But there are some logistical issues we need to work through with them as far as the Fleet One contract and the fuel purchasing. But we're not there yet. I just wanted to make the board aware that we were leaning in this direction. If there's any concerns that you have between now and when this might possibly, you know, take effect, you know, certainly bring them up now. I'm sure safety and security were the primary ones, and I think we've addressed that with what we're looking at here. But again, I'm not sure what's going to happen. It may come to a stop if there's an issue with the gas.
I've spoke to Quick Fuel, and they currently do not sell to any type of municipality, and therefore they're not set up to handle the difference in the way our taxes are structured on fuel. So the lady I talked to was going to get with their legal department. There's some IRS rules and regulations that they have to go by. They have to be certified or approved by the IRS to be able to offer us tax exempt or tax breaks on the fuel. Because I believe the way it works, the supplier would have to request a refund from the IRS for the tax part of it. And she was going to check into that. The only other concern I have or question I have is what type of regulations there are with having a fuel tank on site like that. I don't know.
That and our insurance. I mean, there's a lot of different things.
There's several issues we're going to have to deal with on this. And
Yes.
Is it above ground too?
It's above ground, yes, sir.
What's the capacity?
300 gallons.
Got secondary containment?
We can. They said that we didn't have to, but I would feel more comfortable with secondary containment.
Secondary containment's gonna be your big selling point. So,
And I bring this before the board tonight because Greg was entertaining the idea of doing it at Public Works with the bigger, if there's lessons we can learn from this that might preclude him or save him time and getting to where he wants to be. And it's quite possible that we find out that we can't do this. But I just wanted to make sure that the board knew and that our codes and all of our folks here knew that, you know, from a safety perspective, you know, and the way my guys are currently handling, you know, fuel, getting it back and forth, I'd feel much better knowing that they had a tank up there as opposed to exposing themselves to.
Jeff, last year at OTF, I know we had Quick Fuels.
They did.
Came down and did some servicing there. Were they doing that for the city or for
They did that for the
others?
generators that were being used during Old Timers Festival, so that our
Okay.
guys, trying to think, streets helped out
Right.
with generator maintenance, but they brought that, probably the same tank or near same tank, and placed it there for refueling during Old Timers Festival.
Okay. So that would be closer and would be easier if we had it on site?
Yes, sir.
If we could, and maybe the secondary containment could be done in-house. Maybe the city could handle doing that, like streets or someone.
yeah, there's some specific parameters that have to be met for a secondary goes.
Exactly.
It could easily be done, someone skilled enough with,
Bobcat.
We just have to find somebody other than Garland maybe, but
I'll tell you what I'll do, Jeff, I'll pull some information out of the fire code, share with you on
Very good.
what you need to consider when you're looking at secondary containment, fire protection, so on and so forth. Pass through the tank and determine water flow, or lot of issues as far as tank, fire suppression around that tank, separation between it and the building,
Right.
property line.
Hey, he got me on gas too. You know I'm not gonna let you live that down. I said, you got me on gas too. All right. Any questions there with Jeff and regarding the gas? Well, that'll be brought back to us before, so that was discussion. All right. Down to mayor and alderman comments. Ms. Sherry.
I don't have anything, I don't suppose.
All righty. Vice mayor?
No, nothing.
Nothing? Alderman Waldron? Alderman Broker?
I just want to again thank all the volunteers. They came out, whether it be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, to register our residents for the Code Red system. Laverne Fire, there was part of Box 100. There was probably 10 other ones, but again, just thank you giving a part of your weekend to do that. And again, tomorrow, Box 100 from 9 to 3 at the Senior Citizen Center, I believe, signing up our residents. Hopefully, very soon we'll go door to door to try to get our residents informed and get them signed up. Other than that, I just urge everyone to sign up for the Code Red system. As we said earlier, it's very important and may keep you safe. So.
Music in the park.
Music in the Park, June 9th. So, sorry, Jeff.
For some reason, I was thinking it was this Saturday.
Got a lot going on June 9th.
I know. I'm trying to rush it. Other than that, I want to thank all the directors here and all of our employees. Another outstanding month. Very good jobs. I know y'all have all been working very, very hard. We've had fires from codes to sewer. Kyle with Waldron Road, Katie, all of y'all have had your hands full. Garland was out the other night, I think to 4 o'clock. The police, of course, always having their hands full. We've kept Kathy busy this week with letters from the ICSC. We're getting some bites, so we'll see how that goes. And I just want to thank all of you for all your hard work and for working very hard for the citizens of Laverne. I call this meeting adjourned.